So I'm going to lead with the readout on metrics so we can get that out of the way and get to all the fun stuff that I see further down in the agenda. But I wanted to share some really exciting changes. So I feel like it's a little crazy right now, but so many things seem to be coming together at like kind of the same time. And it's very exciting. So I wanted to make sure everybody had the same information about that. So there were some changes that were made a few weeks ago that are really improving the quality of the inbound funnel. And I think that it's partly things we've done in terms of credit card sign up. And we wanted to fight back on fraud signups for people who were using CI minutes. It's a huge part due to not auto MQLing trials anymore and being a little more thoughtful about, hey, if you've got a trial, but you don't have a business email, you're going to need to do some other actions so that you can show your intent. Demand gens increase their spend, as Dunk was talking about. So we're probably also benefiting from a halo effect. And if you're interested in kind of how brand advertising can create a halo effect for organic traffic, that's a great link that you can check out. And then also the improvements to the pricing page. So all these things coming together is really a wonderful thing. And that's the kind of ensemble effect you want to have in marketing and product when they work together. So why does this matter so much? I'm going to I don't want to bore you, but I want to briefly touch on like, why do we care about this? Like, what does this do
hey,
for
Danielle,
us?
should we be recording this part?
It's all recording.
It's recording.
Oh, it is. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, so I'm so happy to have the digital experience team here. And I feel like it's so important for you all to understand the way that you're moving the needle every day when you do the things that you do for other teams. So at the end of the day, we want to be able to predict, what is going to happen in the coming quarters so that we can make promises and have a great contract between sales and marketing. And so Dunk has the ability to spend money and drive more inquiries. We don't spend money, but we do other things to drive inquiries. But we have to be able to kind of trade back and forth and say, hey, how's it going this quarter? What should we adjust, so that if there are gaps, we can make them up and he can have enough time to run campaigns like some of the stuff that he's doing now. So by increasing the quality, we can hopefully reduce the cycle time. And when we reduce the cycle time, it just means we have more shots on goal, like more cycles we can get through in a quarter to make new decisions if things aren't going well. So when our cycle time historically for inquiry to SAO has been more than 30 days, that means in a quarter, we probably only get 1 or 2 chances to make an adjustment. Because if we get to like day 67 of a 90-day quarter, it's kind of too late. We've already missed that opportunity. So we really want to see within the first cycle of the quarter, how are things going? Are there any leading indicators that we have a quality problem? So it's a really big deal because as we allocate more money, as we grow and we want to have bigger and bigger goals, it becomes much more risky to miss that first cycle and not take action. So you are all helping not just make our website better, make our customer experience better, but helping the business. So I just want to make sure you know that because sometimes it's not so visible, I think, as when we fix something that's broken. And the truth is a lot of other things we'll do probably won't have the same effect. This is probably one of the big adjustments we'll make. So we'll have a bunch of little things that can have, kind of diminishing returns, but this is a big one. So I just want to thank everybody who's been involved in any of those things that, are impacted by them. And then also just wanted to talk about the way I'm communicating with Dunk and with sales and with CMO staff about, what do we have to do next? What's coming? Because we need to make this SAO number continue to grow. We need to capture all the value of our inbound engine. And we have a lot of room to grow still. We want to get more traffic and we know we can. We know that we are only in like the top 5,000 Alexa sites and GitHub is in the top 100. So there's all this space we can take up with our brand story, and that's a partnership with us and everybody else. So as Jeff is working on his strategy for content, keep in mind that's what he's really thinking about is what can we be doing to drive more traffic? And then you can all think about how do you want to be part of that and how do we want to prioritize? So as we're planning Q3 and Q4 together, you've kind of got this in the back of your mind, like, wow, we have a lot more road we want to eat up. We want to go and we want to have one of these sites that every single developer in the world is visiting. So I just wanted to share kind of why it's so important. Sometimes I know we can feel we're pulled a lot of different directions by the business since we're an internal agency of sorts, but I think we've really had a big impact on these things and it's super exciting and it's going to let us be a much more thoughtful partner to other parts of the business. So I want to pause there and just, does anyone not understand what I'm talking about here? I feel like this is super important for us to all have a shared understanding of the funnel. So I'm happy to, not that I want to talk more, but I really, really want to like have this all captured in one video that I can then like stick on our handbook page and just be like, here it is.
Could you talk to how we're going to be able to look at the funnel and gauge success along the funnel?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now we have a very generic funnel view. So we really just say we have a certain amount of people come to our site, a certain amount of people fill out forms. Mostly those forms are trials. There's some other form captures. And we don't really have the sense of a magic journey or like a kind of what's the perfect path a person should take and where should they go, to get them to the point where when they hit that pricing page and there's a buy now button, they're like, yes, I'm ready to do that. Or they're like, yes, I'm ready to have a sales conversation. And they don't just disappear. Because we haven't had end-to-end tracking, we haven't been able to stitch together a session in Google Analytics and say, hey, this person entered from here, visited these 6 pieces of content in this order, and then eventually they converted. And now we could say, we want to make as many people as possible go through that path because that's the best journey. When we can identify that journey, we can start to implement personalization to guide people towards the things we think they most likely need to do. This is exactly what's happening when you're going on Amazon. Like if you do any kind of e-commerce experience on the internet now, you might not even know it, but not everybody sees the same content. It's very, very powerful. And we have the ability to serve up exactly what people need to get them to that next step. So Michael's hinting at personalization. And I think the reality is when we're doing 10x as many inquiries, we're definitely going to want to slice and dice these people up into more than one journey. Right now, everybody has to kind of take the same path, which is the path we can't even completely measure. Does that answer your question, Michael?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks.
Cool. I also wanted to shout out, because it's appropriate to do it here, that there was a major win in terms of a kind of a piece of infrastructure we wanted for the marketing stack. We wanted to have some of that personalization be possible. And we couldn't have gotten that across the finish line of getting approved without the help of Justin Ferris, Craig Mestel, Sam Awazek, Hila, Sindhu, Sid. It's like tricky when you make promises to the community about the way that you're going to be tracking information, and then you want to change the way you're approaching that. We have to be really thoughtful about how we do those things. So those folks really help support us. And Justin is going through the process of finalizing the communication outbound to the community, letting them know, what we'll be doing going forward. This doesn't add any tracking to the product, just for anybody watching. This is just adding some additional tracking to the marketing site itself so that we can see end to end all the way to funnel conversion. So thanks, everybody. And I'll hand it off to Lauren to start off our moments of insight.
Okay, it's like information overload. Thank you. Yeah, co-working spaces are awesome. Remote work is awesome. And for this last iteration cycle, 2 weeks, I was able to work from the ski locker in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. And it was so energizing.
I know that.
Yeah.
I know that. I'm in Colorado, so yeah, it's great.
It's so cool. And there's GitLab swag here. I even see a t-shirt. And it's just really awesome to be able to step out and work from somewhere else and know that I still have this GitLab community wherever I go. Like if you pop into a co-working spot, look for those GitLab stickers. That's all.
I believe I'm up next. Tina shared in the Figma 101 that you can command click in Figma to deep select. That is like life-changing for me. So thank you so much, Tina, for sharing that. For those that don't know, like Figma, you have a lot of layers to click into something. And so like if you command click into something, it'll like let you like bypass all of the layers. So you don't have to like double click multiple times to get to the element that you're trying to get to. So thank you, Tina.
And just context around that, the what's this 101? We've on our team, we've been kicking off, like we call them 101 and then someone does another one, it's 201. So we started with engineering. We actually started with me, like the 101, like welcome to me pretending I know what I'm talking about with Git. So we had our engineering team teaching our design team some technical things. And then this quarter we flipped it. We're having our design team teach the engineering team some cool design teams. So knowledge transfer, and it's all recorded. They're very long videos. Like I think there's an opportunity to look at them and maybe make some cool content in the future, but we're all getting better together. Sorry, Des, you're up.
Yeah, no worries. I just had one of those random donut chats with one of our sales team members this week, Bruno Lazarin. He's one of the Latam salesmen. And he had some really great but simple ideas about like how we could improve the website for sales when they're selling to our potential customers. And for me, it was just a really great reminder that like our users aren't just like people coming to the website by themselves, but also we have these great sales members who can actively show our website. And if we can kind of make it a little bit better for them, that's just gonna make everyone's life easier. So there's one issue in there already. That's a really simple idea. He had another issue I haven't addressed yet, but I think these like little minor tweaks can actually help us a lot. And yeah, to Michael's point, it's a two-sided marketplace.
Yeah, if I could add on to that, this came up in a QBR a few weeks ago, but Rob Houston, who's out of the APAC team, enterprise seller, had some pretty strong opinions relative to the website flows to kind of get buyers interested. So it might make sense to tag him on that issue if you start it, because I know Rob would love to provide his point of view also, and he's been doing a bang up job. So he's a really excellent seller, and a good partner.
I think it's an unintended benefit too from us making these big giant changes to pages is we change something. This organization is so big, we don't know. It actually highlights how little we know about how people are using our site as well. But we made these big pricing page changes, and I keep probably once a week, I observe a issue or a comment somewhere saying, hey, where did this go? I used this to help sell or up tier. And no one knows. Like people just, it reminds me of that Jurassic Park phrase, like nature finds a way. People are just doing things to make it work. So it's kind of an inadvertent benefit that we're making things harder for people, but we're getting more insight into what was working, and we can intentionally put it back. Well, why don't we move on to show and tell? This has been a really great meeting this week. I'm fired up. So as a reminder to anyone watching, we want to share all the great work we've done since our last meeting. Anyone who wants to contribute is invited. We really recommend sharing your screen so we can see a visual and map it to what you're talking about, but it's not always necessary. So Niall, you're up first.
Thanks, Mike. I'll just quickly share my screen. So for the past 2 weeks, Hannah, myself, and the search team have been working predominantly on the dashboard. So we've been working at switching over the connectors from the original GA
Hey, Niall,
source.
I don't think we're looking at the correct screen for you. We're just seeing your desktop.
All right. Let's see if I can try it again. No.
Yeah, now we see the agenda doc.
Yeah, so basically, we've just been working on a number of dashboards. We've so far completed several of them. There's about another 5 or 6 going through the process at the moment. I don't want to share them because they're actually connected to live data, so you can click in and just review them yourselves. But it's an ongoing process just to switch over from what would have been our original GA source to the BigQuery data source, so we can still move forward with specific projects. So following that, I just hand over to Jess.
Thanks, let me share. All right, so I've got 2 things. The first one is just an update to our contact sales page. We're updating obviously to our slippers library, but I also was able to kind of create a new customer case study section, and that will be nice because it'll be reusable. And the idea is to actually just bring in some of those quotes that we have in our case studies, and you'd be able to kind of flip through them, see, the next big name, what they're saying about us, and link to the case study. So hopefully that'll be a reusable block that we can use not just on the contact sales page, but somewhere else as well.
And
then the second thing,
a ripe candidate to the personalization messaging that Dunk was just kind of alluding to earlier. Let's make a note of that. That'd be useful.
Sounds good. And then the second thing I have there is also MVC1 iteration of the demo page. So this is mostly a UI skin. We did update the copy a little bit because we're adding a new video through Vimeo, and it's a 3-minute demo. It's much shorter, a little more to the point. And then, excuse me, once you click through the form itself and you get to the video page, we've added additional kind of steps because before it was just like an dead end. So we have places to go from here now. That's it. Tina.
Just one thing, I'm
Yeah.
sure this is like as part of this video thing, I signed up for the demo. Right now you get an email that says, hey, you've just finished watching the 18-minute demo. So I just want to I don't know where in the workflow, whatever triggers that email, we need to be sure that that's updated. And okay, you guys are all shaking your head. Great. Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's all good, Jeff. And I believe that would be Jackie and team that orchestrates.
Yeah, we'll check. Yeah, we'll take a look. I'll see if I can find that.
All right, I'm up next. I'll share my screen. I just want to, you should be seeing Figma here. I just want to show the first iteration of the soon-to-be data-driven infographic for platform comparison. We're using GitLab versus GitHub as a first use case. This is all placeholder data. Currently, the graphic is an image. It's impossible to update. It has information that's not current. So yeah, we're currently running some user testing on this design as well as the current page to gather some insights for updating the entire page. And I'm looking forward to hearing what the people have to say. Stop sharing. And who's next? Bree, not on call. I'll read what Bree has been up to. Ledley case study was published this week. Also Bree, now that the content team is taking on web copy requests from digital experience, she just wants to share that they have an issue template to use. So tag her in any of the requests. Laura.
Thanks, yeah. I will also share my screen. Okay, so we released the new free trial page. So this is what it looks like. This might look familiar from the designs that were shown in this meeting a few weeks ago, but this is live on the site, and a few new things worth noting. SAS was kind of a point of confusion. So now there is a little tooltip that appears on hover of SAS. And by landing on this free trial page, you automatically are on the SAS form, and clicking through brings you to the SAS sign up form that the product team owns. And then you can go to GitLab self-managed, and now the Marketo form is just within this page instead of going to a whole new page, which is really kind of nice. And then we have the FAQ section here that's modeled after the pricing page. So a lot of answers in there, which is great. We have the CTAs to contact sales, watch a demo. We have the new basic footer, like the blank footer. Before we had a blank footer, but it had nothing. But it is a requirement that we mention something about our licenses and information. And of course, the nice edit in web IDE stuff is here. And one thing I wanted to point out is that back in the day when self-managed was its own page, you would go to free trial /self-managed. And so I wanted to make sure that this link would redirect back to this page. And now it does, and it automatically highlights the self-managed form. So anyone who has that bookmarked or saved or whatever, it will redirect to the proper page highlighting the right form. So that is live and happening. And I think up next is Michael.
That's so cool, Laura. Great thinking. I just wanted to do a quick call out. I'm not going to share my screen, even though I gave the preamble to share your screen. We had our group conversation this morning, thanks to the entire team to get that deck together. I just shared the video of the group conversation, of our slides, and then the video walkthrough of the slides. So excellent questions, and thanks, Danielle, for driving a lot of that. Brock.
Thanks, Michael. I'm just going to quickly echo here. A lot of you already saw this in the marketing call. We have finally the demos being launched. It's being placed as we discussed earlier. I have linked in the agenda. I linked to Danielle's super nice message sheet she had in the marketing chat. Thanks for that. But what I wanted to, in particular, iterate with this and kind of emphasize here with the inbound team is that there's been, as Danielle put in her message, the ask to think about, hey, where could this go, or where can we take this? It's really important to me not to lose any of the momentum that comes out of this. I don't want it to slow down a little bit just because it's done, so to speak. I really want to push this, and this is kind of a cross-discipline effort where this video is in place, but there are assets that we can take forward and put around and make sure that this is something that we really leverage and work with. So it's a bit of a show and tell and a bit of an ask to everybody to, hey, help us brainstorm on this and find the best places and the best opportunities we can take it. And I don't have anything to screen share for it, but I just wanted to mention last week we delivered on the Reg FD video that we worked on with legal. And that is in everybody's emails at this point, I believe. So go check out your emails, do your Reg FD training, and enjoy the work that we did there. And let me know if you have any thoughts or feedback on that end as well. And next, I think we have, I can't find it in the agenda. Help me. Oh, yeah, sorry.
It's Barker. All right. So we've been working on the partner pages. And we have the GCP one. Google is live. Super cool. And another fun thing is here's all of our featured partners. And we've got AWS, Google Cloud, IBM all in the new template, and HashiCorp, Red Hat, and VMware are coming soon. So just go team.
So that's over to me for shout outs. So this is the part of the call where you can give a shout out to anyone who has made your life a little bit easier or been the highlight of your 2 weeks. So I'm the first one up. I just want to give a shout out to everyone that has assisted with the ongoing rebuilds for the dashboard. So every time we rebuild the dashboard, there could be 5 or 6 blended sheets attached to each one and some custom filter systems. And in order to amend them, we need to get access from all the sheet holders and owners for those individual elements. So there is a lot of cross-team work going on, and it's going pretty smoothly. So just thanks to everyone who's assisted with that. And after me, just move on to Jeff for the next shout out.
Well, and I'll follow with that. Again, that Niall and Hannah have done a phenomenal job working across the company to help people with their dashboards. This is kind of a little bit maybe like cleaning out your attic or something like that. Like sometimes you say, hey, do you need help with your dashboard? And they're like, oh, I haven't used it in 9 months. Can I have something that goes 500 miles an hour and sells more? And so Niall and Hannah diplomatically, work with people and help people, or, things have been broken for months that have nothing to do with Google Analytics. They're like, hey, could you fix this thing here? Could you? So that's a little bit because there's tie-ins to YouTube and other connectors. So great work to Niall and Hannah. And again, if anybody ever hears, that our fellow teammates are struggling with Google Analytics, please send them our way. And again, on the whole Google Analytics, we didn't lose any data. That's the big underlying thing. But if anybody needs access to data, Hannah and Niall have become experts, and we can really help people very quickly. But shout out to Hannah and Niall on that. Next two are both for Brock and Erica. We saw the demo video, which is fantastic. So it's great to have that live. And Erica and Brock, I think Brock mentioned this earlier in our call. I mean, they had some late nights last Wednesday and Thursday night working on their regulation FD video. And shout out to Erica and Brock for all their efforts. And I'll pass it to Tina.
Yeah, I'm next. Thank you. Big shout out to Jess for welcoming me with open arms in her user research cave. Thank you for your mentorship. She paved the way with all the excellent work she's done doing user research on usertesting.com. So she paved the way for me to get some of my work done and was really proactive in reviewing all my work and all those videos and all of that. So thanks. Laura.
It's me thanking you, Tina. Thank you so much for the Figma workshop. It was really great that you asked us what we kind of wanted in the survey and then built some tools around what you thought we needed. It was really helpful. We all learned something, like Javi mentioned before. It was cool to just have you walk through it with us. Thank you. And next is Michael.
Shout out to Jess and Tyler. We had a last minute request. You both raised your hands and volunteered, which means so much to me, so that I don't have to volunteer. It's also nice that we can jump in and provide Harsh and Craig some support. When a spotlight's shining on them, that can be a hot spotlight. And we have less than a week of notice, and we're going to deliver something awesome, ideally by end of day tomorrow. And you're going to get tired of hearing me say this over and over again, but I'm going to be bringing up the design system a lot because I just keep seeing work that just would not be possible had we not invested in it. And also shouts to Danielle for protecting that time for us. For I tricked her and said 1 quarter, but I waved my hands around and smiled a lot, and that turned into 2. So thank you. So also, yeah, I also did want to continue to say thanks, Danielle, for jumping in and supporting me this last week. Brandon leaving is a big hit. Miss him. Great person. We're picking everything up and getting organized. So thank you. You're doing so much without being asked, and I see you and appreciate you. Niall, you keep fixing all of the problems. So thanks again. I was very stressed about that data going away. I'm still not as comfortable in Data Studio, but it's an opportunity to learn a new platform, and I appreciate your guidance. Then just a general shout out to Barker. Like the amount of times I open something and I'm like, oh God, I'm so behind on this, I should jump in. And it's like, oh, Lauren's already done it. It's like all the time. And I have this like spidey sense that I only even really know about like 3/4 of the amount that you do. And I just wanted to let you know, I see that 3/4 and I'm aware of the quarter that I don't even know. And we'd be screwed without you. So thank you so much. Tyler.
Yeah, I mentioned this in my green check-in earlier, but just had a great 2 weeks off, and I would just want to shout out everyone on this team and the company too. I can't think of a place I've ever worked or any place that I know people who work at where you could like take 2 weeks off. I came back and I had 50 emails in my inbox. A lot of it was like calendar events, clear those out. 36. Read through all of those. Only like 10 of those 36 from 2 weeks were like things I still needed to do. Right, like I like got up to date on things, but like 10 action items from 2 weeks out, totally disconnected. I didn't touch my inbox at all on my vacation. It was wild, and a handful of to-dos, and yeah, it's just been a really good transition back in. And like Michael said, like I was able to raise my hand because everyone on the team had done such a good job to like adapting to my time off that I didn't come back immediately underwater, right? I was like, oh, I'm actually kind of a free agent for this week, which I didn't expect. I'm just really appreciative. But special mentions, Barker had a really good handoff on the commit template. And I came back, I was like, oh, cool. That all sorted itself out. This is awesome. And Javi picked up my work for on the comparison page redesign, wiring it up to Netlify CMS and the data files. Like that's just done. I like did the review. I was like, oh, cool, thanks, dude. Like it's awesome. So I just like big shout outs to the two of you specifically for just like letting me basically like giving me a great time off. Thank you so much. Sarah.
Hi, everyone. So in the time off vein, I just wanted to thank the content team, particularly Bree, Suri, and Valerie, and Jeff for stepping in to help make sure that the blog stays afloat while I'm gone. This is actually, I realized while you were talking, I was like, this is the most time off I think I've ever taken throughout my career. And so I feel really lucky to know that the blog is in good hands. So thank you all. I appreciate you.
I've got one last one. So shout out to Nathan. We had a co-working hour to triage on Monday. We're going to do that for the next 2 weeks, and then triaging will be handed over to Nathan. So I appreciate your mind for it and your organization. I'm really looking forward to us continuing to simplify that process to increase our efficiency. And one of the things Brandon did before he left was work with everyone to like quantify how many weight points we can do per sprint, which is 5 now. And that's totally fine. But even if we do some work together to get that up to 6, that's one more. A weight point is half a day. So it's a half a day per person just through process efficiencies, which, it's not always about writing more code or designing more things. It's about making these processes better. So I appreciate you being willing to work on that and just having that mind for it. And that brings us to the end. Anyone have anything for closing?
Thanks, everyone. Have a great weekend. See you next week.
Bye.